Hi everyone, welcome to the only channel on YouTube with a mixture of different content from stories to facts with a crew of pirates sitting in soup. Good morning, soupies.
Ahoy, Captain.
Ahoy.
Today we're looking at the story of Atlantis and whether or not it has actually been found. Let me know your theories down in the comments section, and please, if you enjoy this video, click that like button and don't forget to subscribe.
Arr, get on with it, you scurvy dog. Ahoy, me mateys. Welcome to Pirate Soup.
Plato was an ancient Greek philosopher whose...
Wrestler.
What?
Plato be a wrestler. That'd be most important.
Right, but that's not the intention of this video.
I care not, me lad. It's be important.
Moving on. Plato's real name was Aristocles. It's believed to have been given the name Plato by his wrestling trainer from the size of his shoulders and chest.
You see it now, don't ya? Important.
Yeah, anyway. Plato is considered one of history's greatest ever thinkers. He drew inspiration from ancient Greek philosophers before him and used a lot of them in his own works. He was also a writer. He wrote literature deemed classics even to this day. Most of them are written in dialogue format, so he always seemed to separate himself from the characters within the book.
Be they any good, these books?
You'll have to try and read them to find out, but I'm sure they're not your cup of tea because you can't read. In both Timaeus and Critias, Plato mentioned a place called Atlantis. And although Plato described Atlantis to sound like some sort of mini-utopia, it isn't 100% clear if he was referring to a real place or not. Plato stated that Solon, a Greek legislator who had lived 300 years prior, had heard of Atlantis from ancient Egyptian priests while visiting there. These priests had told Solon about an ancient civilization from thousands of years before. While Plato's story about Atlantis is a work of philosophical discussion, there might very well be some truth behind it. Plato described Atlantis as a great island larger than Libya and Asia combined. But let's be fair, we've all seen how accurate ancient maps were.
Arr, where'd be the X?
There's no treasure marked on this map.
Arr, what's the point then?
He did, however, mention that Atlantis was beyond the Pillars of Hercules, commonly believed nowadays to be the Strait of Gibraltar. Now, if we assume that the boats travelling from Greece and through the Strait of Gibraltar today, we can venture onto the western coast of northern Africa, specifically Morocco.
There be treasure in Morocco?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
What about rum? There be rum?
Soupy, wherever you go, there is always rum. Go there and find out for yourself. I'm sure you'll be warmly welcomed there. Now, can we continue?
Aye, that we can.
Thanks. Plato described Atlantis itself as having control over the whole island to Libya, and right up to the borders of Egypt. So, can it be assumed that Atlantis was actually in Africa?
There be treasure in Africa?
Not again. Yes, there's treasure there. Go for it.
Hooray! Already the rest of the soup is.
Great. So, what did Plato specifically say about Atlantis? He said there were mountains to the north and a great plain in an oblong shape to the south. He said that there were circles of land and water in between in the centre of Atlantis, as well as a temple to Poseidon at the centre. He said it was also abundant with agriculture in the plains. The time that Atlantis is said to have existed is now over 10,000 years ago, and the word had been passed down over the years through Egyptian priests, who are then said to have informed Solon about it. The rich in agriculture and watery region certainly doesn't sound like Africa, does it? The time period that Atlantis is supposed to have existed matches up with what's known as the Green Sahara. It wasn't always just sand dunes. This occurred during what's known as the Younger Dryas era, when the ice sheets from the north stretched down across much of the northern hemisphere. Any civilization would have constructed a city in that sort of region from wood and the materials around them. We've seen that with tribes from South Africa and all over the world. Now, Plato said that Atlantis was swallowed up by the sea following an earthquake. But could it be true? In Morocco, on the west coast of Africa, there's a place known as the Rikat structure, or the Eye of the Sahara. It's a pretty strange looking structure for something occurring naturally. To the north, you have a rocky area much like Atlantis. The whole structure is made up of rings, almost in perfect circles, and the size also matches Plato's description. To the south, you have an area that looks like someone's just come in and wiped everything off the Sahara, which leads directly into the ocean. People could ask about artifacts confirming Atlantis in that very specific area, but given that the Sahara was a green paradise back then, most of the tools and buildings were likely made from wood. And at the end of the Younger Dryas era, the ice sheets melted, causing massive flooding around the world, which many scholars believe was the origin of the Great Flood of Noah's Ark, and other stories similar in nature from different cultures.
So Atlantis, the ancient city that only mermaids and sirens speak of, it be real?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying there could possibly be a relation between Plato's Atlantis and the Ricard structure in Morocco. I thought you were off to Africa anyway to find some treasure.
Aye, that we are. We be ready to go now, me and the soup is.
Great. Safe trip, enjoy yourselves, good luck in finding that treasure. Don't get lost. Bye. See ya.
Nar, you be trying to get rid of me and the soup is.
No, don't worry. I just want you to finally find that treasure that rightfully belongs to you.
Say no more.
Right, that's all for today. If you enjoyed this and you'd like to help the Soupies, please smash that like button. If you want to see more content like this in the future, be sure to subscribe with all notifications enabled so you don't miss any future uploads. Thank you for watching, everybody.